going on, guys? It's Boxing Lowdown and I'm back here with another video. Now don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Feel free to drop a comment if you like, guys, and I'll happily get back to you. Now this is my slightly delayed post-fight reaction to Jamel Herring and Carl Frampton. The two men fought over there in Dubai at the weekend. Jamel Herring winning that by 6-round TKO, stopping Carl Frampton, man. And you know, the Belfast man, he announced his retirement in the ring afterwards. Very emotional at the end there. And apologies for the delayed video, but it's here anyway, so let's get on to it. Carl Frampton, man, I mean, he was having trouble finding a range in this fight. He was having trouble getting close to Jamel Herring. Jamel Herring, who's trained by Bomac, who is the trainer also of Terence Crawford. He used his distance very well. I mean, he had a 5-inch height advantage over Carl Frampton, and it really did show in the ring that night. But my actual prediction going into this one was I was convinced that this was going to go to points. I was certain. I was just like, look, none of these two guys are particularly, you know, big punchers. I could see this one going on to the cards, but yeah, it wasn't that way. It didn't turn out that way. Carl Frampton was dropped twice in the fight, and yeah, he was just a step behind Jamel Herring pretty much throughout the contest. And in the 6th round, it really did, yeah, show when Herring used an uppercut which dropped Frampton. It was pretty much slow motion. The way how Frampton fell there, it was weird to watch, actually, man. I mean, he was just caught with a beautiful uppercut from Jamel Herring, and it was almost in slow motion the way how Frampton went down there. He struggled to get up, and then after that, the follow-up through from Jamel Herring, he was starting to land at will, and then the towel literally came in just before Frampton was on the verge of getting knocked out, definitely. I know he was stopped here, but I think he was on the verge of getting put out on his back. It was that sort of, you know, punishment that he was taking, and it was the right decision from the corner there, because he wasn't really in the fight to me. I think he had a decent round a couple of rounds before that where Jamel Herring was cut, but overall the pattern of the fight was strongly in Jamel Herring's favour, who is the older fighter at 35, and he looks older. But in terms of you know, what they've had in the ring and their experience in the ring, Frampton's he's racked up a lot more mileage than Jamel Herring has, and it showed. So I think that Carl Frampton, when he lost to Josh Warrington, for me, that was when I knew that he was out of his prime then, and he was seriously considering retiring then. So, you know, when you're considering retirement like that, you know, he said it after the Josh Warrington fight, and then he said it, you know, before this fight, if I lose, I'm going to retire. Then one foot's already through the door. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, it came as no shock that he announced his retirement after that. I mean, he's got nothing left to prove. He's been a 2-division world champion. He had a very extensive amateur career. You know, Frampton will go down as one of the best Irish fighters of all time. So he's had a terrific career, and at 34 years old, I mean, with some of the guys out there right now at super featherweight, it's probably best now for him to retire. So, especially when he was considering it a few years ago. So yeah, there was a lot of ground to make up on the cards, and yeah, I mean, that pretty much brings an end to the career of Carl Frampton, man. And yeah, I'm sure with his personality, he's revered by many in boxing circles around the world. He's got a lot of support over here in the UK. I think that he's done a bit of punditry on BT Sport before, and he came across well on that. He's carried himself pretty well. So I think his career after boxing will be, I think that he'll have a lot of avenues to pursue, and I think he'll be a strong influence over there in Belfast and the rest of Ireland, and in the UK in general. I think that he'll have a lot of experience to share with up-and-coming fighters, and I think people will listen to him. I think he's that well respected, so hopefully he will be able to get into something like that. But at the moment, he was just saying that right now I just want to spend time with my family, and you could tell how emotional he was at the end there, that, you know, this is the right decision to make. So fair play to him, and fair play to Jamel Herring. I mean, let's talk about him as well, man. I mean, he looked very good. In his previous fight, he wasn't at his best, and I think that may have caused a lot of people to pick Carl Frampton as well. Prime for prime, I'd have picked Carl Frampton in this fight, but a lot of us knew that going into this, that Frampton was past his prime. And yeah, I think that Jamel Herring deserves a lot of credit for this performance. I don't think many picked him to stop Carl Frampton the way he did, so let's give him the credit for that. and it'll be interesting to see where he goes next, man. I mean, he said that he'd be willing to fight Shakur Stevenson. He's called out Oscar Valdez. So yeah, some interesting fights to be made there at super featherweight. The Oscar Valdez one, of course, makes sense for Jamel Herring. It's a unification fight. Both of them are under top rank, so maybe that could be made. Maybe that might be next on the radar for him. But it was a fantastic win for Jamel Herring, and he'll look to continue with his career, while Carl Frampton can now sail off into the sunset and enjoy the fruits of his labour, and we'll go from there. But let me know what you guys thought of the fight, man, and what did you make of the interviews afterwards? What would you like to see next for Jamel Herring? And just give me your overall thoughts on the card itself, man. I was just, while I close out, I was just watching that fight, man, and I know it took place in Dubai and everything else, but I was just thinking, I don't know if you guys were thinking it too, but I was just like, why couldn't they like hold this outside or somewhere with a decent view, or do you know what I mean, like a nice backdrop, you know, like what they did with when Dillian Whyte fought Alexander Povetkin. I know it took place indoors, but you know, like the backdrop on the outside when they were like doing the workouts and stuff, I mean, it looked pretty sensational. And in Dubai, I mean, the amount of views you can get over there, I've been to Dubai, like the amount of the views you can get out there, I would have thought that they would have tried to do something like that, but hey, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's just me being a bit picky. But overall, yeah, a good fight, a good win for Jamel Herring, and let's see what he does from here. And as for Carl Frampton, as a Brit myself, you know, we appreciate all the memories that you've given us over the years, some fantastic fights. Enjoy retirement, and enjoy the next step of your career, man. Salute to you. But that's it for me, guys. Anyway, I'll catch you on the next video.